I just want to take you back to Boksburg. I understand Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi is speaking. I imagine he's on the scene. Let's take you there.
And the capabilities of our law enforcement agencies that are at the higher level, and the need to respond in a manner that is if you are in a war zone. The figures indicate that you are under siege and we have to respond.
Premier, could we just ask in terms of those gas cylinders, have they been removed? What's the process in terms of removing those gas cylinders to ensure that doesn't happen? And then also, second question, could you just give an update on the status of those in hospital? I'm not sure if you did already, but just what's going on.
We are guided by forensics teams because it's still a crime scene, so they needed to balance the two of ensuring that they gather the evidence, possibly for an inquest that is going to be opened, but also they needed to save lives. So where we are of the view that they've done that. They've tried to ensure that those cylinders that are still there cannot either explode or they cannot harm people further. So we'll get the report, because last night when we left here, or early hours of this morning when we left here, they were still working on those issues. So we'll get that report. In terms of those that are injured, I said 4 are critical. Unfortunately, one person last night. That's why the figures now it's 17, and there are almost 11 that are at various levels of injuries, and the team at the hospitals, they've briefed us. They gave me the latest briefing this morning. There are others that are still, they still need immediate medical assistance, but there are others that they think they will be discharged later on today.
Premier, another question to have for News 24. What's your response to allegation that those gas cylinders were stolen from a nearby field, and how many have you retrieved as the department?
I don't have that information. I think we're just on rescuing lives last night. We are only going to, we can include that aspect immediately, because we're going to be briefed by law enforcement agencies, and I can check that information.
Premier, I'd like to ask, those that passed on, did any of them include Zamazamas?
I don't have the profile. I don't have the profile, whether they are. The scene was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking. I regretted why we have to go through that scene. It was heartbreaking. So it's something that we might need assistance personally, because it wasn't. The bodies were scattered literally everywhere. And I want to thank our team, because they know exactly where each body was, and they know exactly how that particular body arrived where it was. So I thought initially it was just an explosion in one area, but you can see people were running away from the scene, and then they started to fall as they tried to get areas where they can escape.
You know, the devastation you described, Premier, is still palpable this morning. We've got people, part of our team, who are there. People have lost brothers, husbands, you name it. And there's questions about what happens for them next. I mean, you know, it's hard to believe that they'll be expected to stay here, given what's happened, and given how that gas may still very well still be, you know, lingering somewhere and pose a threat to their lives.
Well, the issue of human settlement in our province, and we don't have to blame people that are coming to our areas, in particular to our province. I always say to our people, and those that are doing human settlement planning, I don't hate people that wants to come to our area. Actually, I really believe we should appreciate that. It means we're doing something good, we're creating opportunities and other things. We just have to manage the informal settlement. And I'm glad at the state of the city, the mayor outlined what we have outlined as a province, that the priority of this government that one has the honor to lead is to improve townships, informal settlements and hostels. We've placed that on record, that if you can improve our townships that are deteriorating, you can improve our informal settlements the way they are. These informal settlements are not fit for human consumption. We just have to put resources as government on how best to do it. And the problem that we have is not a solution that must come from the West, and it must come from us. So we need architectures that can say, how do we develop an area when people are still staying there? Do we have those expertise? And we've been hunting for those expertise, because this area, people want to be here and they want to stay here, and we have to develop, and they're still here. There's a problem of water, there's a problem of electricity, there's a problem of sanitation, and the problem of safety. So I share all this frustration, but we've got plans. The teams are working on our best to improve our informal settlements and our hostels.
Cold consolation, though, Premier, for people who, again, this is not new.
Yeah.
This is not something that started yesterday. And in some instances, they feel like they've been trying to raise it for quite some time. It took this devastation for you to be here.
It's a collective responsibility that I duly accept, the one that comes from government. I mean, people are doing an illegal activity here, inside, not in a secluded area, in the middle of where people stay. So I don't think that we should encourage that. And that is why I'm saying the law enforcement agencies, the people that are involved there, we should have stopped that. But I don't want to apportion blame. I don't want to hide behind a broomstick as government. We have a share of our responsibility that we should shoulder, and we should confront it head on and confront this community. That's why I'm prepared even to meet with the community leaders. We can't just leave it. But as I said, law enforcement agencies are the only sector that can assist us to ensure that we push back this kind of activities. And we need firepower. I can tell you, we need firepower. And firepower from the air, firepower from technology, satellites. We have to, if people get out of those illegal mines and come to the surface, we need to have technology that can pick them up. And we need to have the firepower from the law enforcement agencies to push back those people. And we need to know where these activities are taking place and go there and close them down. And we can't do that with a naked eye and do that with the kind of resources that we have. This situation has gone beyond the capable or the capacity or the resources that we have to fight this thing. We need a new thinking, and I've said it. Yeah. We just have to overhaul our law enforcement strategies of dealing with these zamazamas.
And to be clear, Premier, you say government currently is unable to relocate.
I don't think we've got the resources to confront it and the strategies to confront it. They are there, but I mean, if, as you said, it's the same script every time you come and speak. And I mean, you check what people of Diepsloot are saying. The challenges that are having in Diepsloot, and it's not Diepsloot alone. You go to every community. This kind of crime is creating problems. So how are we resourced as government? We are putting 4.5 billion as Gauteng on the table. We are not just because we know we need technology, and we know we need cars, and we know we need human capability. We know we need all these things. But you can't do that if you are not coordinating our efforts as government. But I don't want to sound as if I'm saying the police are not, they're doing their best. And I'm just worried that we're exposing them because they're confronted with a situation that is well-resourced, well-connected, and it has the firepower that can really create problems for all of us. We just have to capacitate the police to respond with the necessary firepower, if not beyond.
Premier, I'd just like to ask, in terms of those that are in hospital, do any of them include minors? Do you know?
I don't have the ages. I can quickly check from the report that was sent this morning. Let me, if you don't mind, sure. I can just check if... Yes. They say in Ward 12 there are 3 children. Their ages, 2 of them are 4 years and 1 is 9. That's what we have. And in Ward 16, we have 1 female and 3 males. All are awake, breathing on their own. In Ward 20, we've got 1 female on oxygen, awake and talking. And there are 5 adults that were later admitted this morning. There's 1 that is under oxygen, and there's 1 that, as I said, unfortunately passed on. And those that are with the hospital, the total amount and number is 11. That's the figures that I got this morning.
There are reports that some community members raised concerns to the police about a foul smell, but they didn't act upon those reports.
Well, for now, I'm going to meet with the police now. We'll deposit that concern as well. And check indeed if this was reported. But when I came here last night, the smell was hanging on, was still up in the sky. So we just need to find a way that we can verify those allegations.
But the area has been declared safe for now, because I mean there's a lot of community members out and about. Are you satisfied that the area is safe and there will be no further flare-up or whatever the case might be? That's why I asked the question about the gas cylinders that are still there.
Heidi, I went to the scene because we didn't just want to go to the scene. We got the go-ahead that it was safe for us to enter. And we've been there, I mean, since last night, so nothing happened. I don't have any symptoms. I hope you don't. So I assume that everything is still fine. But we needed to just demobilize the canisters that were still there. And as I said, we needed to balance the police evidence gathering methods and at the same time ensure that everyone is safe. So I hope by now those that are dealing with chemicals, they've demobilized those canisters, because it will be another disaster if those canisters can also go off. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thanks for your time. Thanks, Premier. We do appreciate it.
All right, so live from the gas leak, the scene of the gas leak in Germiston, that was Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi confirming as well that the death toll now stands at 17. It was originally 16. We've just learned a while ago that one person in hospital has sadly passed away. So 17 is now the death toll from this gas leak out in Germiston.